Hello and welcome to Computex here in Taipei, and we're visiting Jonsbo. Now, last year, Computex 2024, we talked a lot about different NAS solutions, not much about cases, but one of the big takeaways from that event was this, the Jonsbo N5. The Jonsbo N5, arguably, although one of the biggest, is certainly one of the most capable, ready-to-go DIY NAS cases that I've ever used. And the big problem is, where do you go from there? Because at that point, you've got maximum storage, you've got maximum space, you've got maximum PCIe. Where do you go? Well, weirdly, you go smaller. This is the NV10. Now, the NV10 is the new MITX motherboard for flash NAS solutions. Now, this system here is actually arriving in two different versions. There's the NV10 and the N10. Now, what these are, they support MITX motherboard, a flex PSU up to 150mm, but there is a slight difference between them, and not just the material. This one here is dedicated towards utilizing an MITX motherboard, but also graphics cards. On the rear there, we've got space for that smaller flex PSU, alongside the MITX cavity, and space there for a double height graphics card going in there. Length, of course, is going to be something different to talk about there, but they've gone for that standard wood finish they had before, and absolutely tons of ventilation. Now, attaching fans inside, there isn't really any additional screw holes inside there. It's going with sort of vertical airflow, a lot of it coming off. If not, the fans on the graphics cards, then definitely coming off of that PSU. But what if you're not someone that's looking to install graphics cards? What if you want storage? And that's where the N10 comes in. Now, the N10 will remove the magnetic top panel. So again, magnetic, which is good because it makes this video easier. This one, again, supporting an MITX motherboard and a 150mm flex PSU. This one has got 4 individual 2.5-inch SATA drives inside. Now, I can't see a PCB inside there. This is still a case that's currently in development right now. And on the rear, they've got a couple of additional cooling fans filtering directly onto the SATA SSD media inside there. So you're going to need at least an MITX motherboard that's either got an M2 to SATA multi-port adapter there, or one that's got at least 4 SATA ports there. But there's a lot of MITX motherboards coming out of like CWWK, Top 10, that sort of thing, that are able to facilitate that. And again, tons of ventilation, not quite as much as the one we find there for the video cards there, but still nonetheless, it is arguably a bit more of a quirky product compared to that of, say, the Jonsbo 12-bay over there, but the brand does tell me that there is an N6 case currently in development, hopefully coming towards the end of this year. Realistically, this is of course a lot more niche compared to some of the other solutions as mentioned earlier on, but it still at least shows that Jonsbo are still expanding in the NAS server casing market here. And although they have facilitated for MITX previously, moving into some ATX options later on as well, this is definitely one of the more compact options. And for those of you who are looking for something a little bit more comparable to the original N1 in terms of casing, this is by far the smallest case here on the table. And as a lot of users are getting a great deal more drawn towards more compact server deployments, and certainly flash options in the market right now, given the affordability of SSD in some places, there is definitely demand for this. And although it may feel a little bit bare bones compared to the others, the lack of removable hot swappable trays, and really only a USB Type-C port there to play with at 10 gig, it's still an interesting solution nonetheless. And I'm really excited to find out what exactly the Jonsbo N6 could possibly be. Now, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you on the next video.